Marie, David, welcome. Marie, to you first. You have a wealth of experience when it comes to marketing transformations. Tell me a little bit about it.
About my background, maybe first. Thank you for having me, Georgie. Thank you for having me, David. Well, I guess I've been in this business of tech and marketing for 25 years. I started as a webmaster, and then fast forward 20 years later, I was running digital transformation for corporations, big companies like L'Oreal, PVH, and now I'm at Google. So I get to run marketing from the tech side of the house and not the reverse. So I guess I would call it full circle, maybe.
In your experience, done correctly, what impact can transformations have?
So obviously, high impact is high performance when it comes to financial performance. Obviously, first is an impact on the top line, gradually to the bottom line, and then value creation. But it's not just financial impact for most of the companies I worked for, but also the companies I see now from Google. It's also a sense of purpose, a collective adventure for the teams who are involved. So I would say it's high performance on both ends, the team side and the financial side.
David, from your perspective, looking from the outside, I guess, what's top of mind for leaders going through transformation?
Well, I've done some with Marie, and I've always been really respectful of the way she's been pushing and innovating. I'd say some of the work really on our side is helping to balance the challenges and the push you have to really invest in a client and in a culture to make change, while also, maybe finding practical ways to translate those into measurable, small, attainable steps along the way. So I find sometimes some of our more visionary clients, we have to play alongside and maybe help bring teams along culturally along the way. I'd also say being able to provide some milestones and some proof of success to other parts of the organization, especially like a CFO, tends to be very helpful. And I'd say our role usually helps bridge some of the translation between the marketing and the financial sides of the house.
GenAI is obviously the hot topic of the moment. Where do you see the value creation opportunities with that?
Yeah, well, and I'm interested in Marie's answer too, because she's at the center of a lot of this. But right now, I'd say for GenAI, we see CMOs are extremely optimistic still. We are finding that in our own experiences within BCG and also with our clients, the range of possible outcomes is very large. Some teams pick up on GenAI tools, for example, these days and see 30-50% productivity increases. Some do not. And I think the challenge will be, how do we figure out the right playbook to ensure that everybody is getting better using these new tools? And I'd also say there's a lot of traditional AI that still exists, and Google and Marie are at the forefront of actually pulling AI into our everyday lives without us even necessarily having to think too much about it. So I think we benefit from leaders like her.
Well, Marie, I'm also interested in your answer to that one as well. How are you and your teams using AI, GenAI?
So first I would like to go back to this traditional AI label that David just came up with. Well, I love that we now have these two categories. I was about to say I make the distinction between core AI, predictive AI, and Gen AI, which is the new inflection point. I like that you call the first one traditional AI already. It makes the next wave more interesting. I would say, so yes, as David was saying, predictive AI helps anticipate what's next. It helps teams better connect with consumers, go to market faster, and also stitch measurements, make measurement outcomes easier, more attainable, as David was saying. I would say this has been in the marketing work for a long time, was not called AI, and that's why it's called traditional now. Was called automation or machine learning, but that's the first corpus body of work. The next one is really GenAI. Overall, the two sides of AI, we call it a performance multiplier. It really multiplies performance, creative, productivity. And then, yes, GenAI, when it comes to creative, is going to augment, boost, should it be volume of creative, velocity of creative, variations of creative. So that's why marketers are finally optimistic. I think they're optimistic because finally they can go back to marketing. And all this manual, low-value work can be delegated to machines. And so humans can, and marketers can focus on creativity. Creative can be optimized. Creativity is human. And all these insights, the beauty of marketing, which is the kind of the connection to products and brands, to consumers, is not going anywhere. The way we're doing it is multiplied and augmented, and hence the optimism.
Yeah.
What impact are you already seeing of GenAI at Google and the wider industry?
I see an uplift. We see an uplift, should it be from our own marketing at Google, the customers who work with us at Google. We see an uplift, a multiplier when it comes to performance. So if I take, for instance, a product that we use called Performance Max, it enables brands to identify the next pockets of demand. So it helps connections and go-to-market to go much faster. So we see that uplift. I also see the uplift in productivity already, in email usage, the way we do media, the way we develop creative. So yes, in the day-to-day, I would also say, to David's point, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it, it's about trying, but then scaling and having the proofs of results so we can measure and scale.
Finally, asking you both, what would be your top tips for C-suite execs who are going through the transformation journey now?
Wow. Well, I would say, especially as it relates to AI and generative AI, I think the most instructive thing I've seen in my own eyes is actually BCG's own transformation ourselves. So thinking through how do we actually make our marketing better and walking through that step by step, understanding which pieces might be able to be either better or minimized or automated. And then actually we have our teams using new tools, and actually we call them hackathons, but essentially trying new campaigns with new tools and almost trying to challenge their best creativity or efficiency in the past. I think our clients would benefit from that, and we've been trying to work with them, and I think have a lot of potential success in the future from that.
I would give two pieces of humble advice. Number one, build the right foundations. So invest in first-party data, but also the right stack, your platform of preference. Also the right skills, the right processes. So build the right foundations, what we call at Google the AI essentials. So have that ready. And then the second thing is focus. Focus and sustain, which is going back to the point I was making previously. I see a lot of companies trying a lot of things. I call it the collection of pilots. So I would say focus on a few things that are going to demonstrate value and scale that value. It's way more interesting, way more valuable, and it's a different muscle, I think, for companies and teams to build that repeatable, sustainable patterns of growth within the companies.
Marie, David, thank you so much.
Thank you, Georgie.
Thank you. Thank you, Georgie.